He's wired for these moments. That was Kirby Smart talking about Georgia quarterback Gunnar Stockton after a massive performance by Gunnar over the Rebels of Ole Miss, number 5 ranked Ole Miss Rebels. Yeah, do you remember the panic after the Austin Peay game? Because I do. Because that's what people do. That's what fandom is people get loaded up and concerned about things. Gunnar Stockton, 289 yards, 4 touchdowns, 26 of 31 passing. No interceptions. I don't know that he put the ball in harm's way. And then he goes for 10 carries, 61 yards, 2 losses, so it's 59 yards rushing with another touchdown. The guy scored 5 touchdowns. And, I'll do it. I've been a Heisman voter for 20 years. And there are guys that are probably in front of him right now for me. Ty Simpson's played very well. The quarterback in Indiana's been very good. There's some players, but Gunnar's definitely in your short stack, for lack of a better term. We had CDs in the 90s, and you would have a short stack of CDs, so you wouldn't have to take up all the space on your CD player. You would have a short stack. Gunnar's on the short stack. And I just think it's something to remember about this team that Stockton needed to play better, and he did. And for me, having watched him probably countless times at Raven live, not countless, I probably saw him play 5 times live in high school, which is a lot, actually. And, it was clear to me this guy makes plays constantly. I knew that was the case. But what was not so obvious was, would that translate to the SEC? Because a lot of what he did at Raven was predicated on running the football and just being so much better than everyone else. I'll tell you what else is so much better is Freebird. It's a Freebird Monday on Dawg Post. Make sure you're knocking these out. If you've not discovered them yet, well, we're not doing our job very well then, because I want to make sure everybody's aware this is awesome. It's from up where Gunnar is, a couple counties over to towards Chattanooga. But check out Freebird today. I slammed one of these after the game because I was exhausted. It was very cold. You can take it with you. That's the best thing for me, is after an exercise or a walk or a run or a Georgia game. You can slam one of these, get yourself right, mix in the water. Freebird. It's a Freebird Monday. You can see the link on the screen. But I think that with Gunnar, the big thing to me is that what Kirby's saying is right. He is wired for this. It's something that, like, this playing, this comes naturally to him. He really is a lot like Shaw was at South Carolina. I mean, he makes a lot of plays, man. Like that. I did not talk about this over the weekend, but that throw to Lawson Lucky on the not the arching touchdown, but the bullet, man, you could hear it hit Lawson's chest. I mean, he really thumped that ball in there. And he does play with a lot of power. Losing Colby Young will be difficult for this team to get around. It will. It takes away a weapon. I mean, he's really good. And he looks like an NFL wide receiver. But, injuries happen, and you got to get through it. But I think for him, Gunnar, I'm not shocked. I am not shocked. If you watched him at Raven, you knew this was coming. The question was, could he, could the transition to the college game happen? When he was younger and committed to Carolina, I was skeptical because of the plays he was making were really a fair amount of run plays that I saw. There was just a fair amount of them. But obviously, he scaled that back over time, and he has to, because when people are your size or larger are getting their hands on you, 5 to 10 times more a game than the normal quarterback, that will have wear and tear. I mean, I've seen Haynes King get up and look exhausted after some plays, and that's in the ACC, which is not at all like the SEC. It's a different level. So Gunnar's dealing with that now, but the performances are just stacking up. I mean, the the Tennessee game he was really good against Tennessee. Obviously, what he did to help Georgia win against Auburn, but then on Saturday against Ole Miss, I don't know, what the future holds for Georgia. No loss in the regular season now, no singular loss is going to be terminal. So this is really about getting yourself right for the postseason, and really that's about body management, I think, for Gunnar. I don't think he has to practice. I don't necessarily know why he would need to practice. But again, I just do want to say and specify, when you go and watch high school quarterbacks play, they're all talented, or they wouldn't be going to Georgia or Florida or South Carolina or wherever. The question is, do they know how to play the position? And, I'm not sure there was anyone that was more ready to play quarterback in college than Gunnar Stockton. I was concerned about his height a little bit. That doesn't matter. And, or in this case, it does not matter. And that he seemed very comfortable playing. It was just obvious. It was like he was born in a pocket almost. He knew, he felt, he knows how to play the position. And I think it was Connor Shaw. It wasn't J-Bo, but I think it was Connor that was playing at South Carolina and really just knew how to play. It was just tough, really tough player. Aaron Murray knew how to play the position. When he got to Georgia, he played a bunch at Plant in Tampa. So you do get guys that know how to do it. I think with Aaron, people did not appreciate what he was until he was gone. They really ran him down. There were times Aaron did not play well, shout out, but he was the reason that thing went for a long time, for 4 years at Georgia, 3.5, whatever it was. But his battle against Alabama in 12, the way he fought, that season and really and beyond. I mean, Aaron definitely, there was a lot that he brought to Athens with him 15 years ago when he committed to Georgia and played there. He had to fight Zach Mettenberger off. That's another NFL quarterback he was fighting against. Gunnar saw Stetson play and win a national championship while he was a redshirt freshman. Gunnar saw what Carson, could do in 23 and the struggles he had in 24. So as much as he played at Raven 4 straight years and being very successful, then he had to go through the process of, I'm not the best quarterback on this team. I'm not the best quarterback in a 60-mile radius suddenly. I mean, he was exceptionally good up there. He was isolated for sure, if you can be isolated with a Chick-fil-A in your town, but he was. And for left me, I don't know why Clemson didn't go after him hard. All the chickens are coming home to roost now, and man, he would have really helped them. I mean, he's much better than Cade Klubnik ever thought about being. He's just a better quarterback. I mean, Cade Klubnik is physically good in a way that will transfer to the NFL better than it does in college, but it's just not the same. Gunnar knows how to play the position, and that is the biggest thing. I think for having seen Jared Curtis as well, I think Jared Curtis might be the most physically gifted player at quarterback that I've seen since probably Cam Newton. And I think he knows how to play the position pretty well too. Now he does some dumb stuff, or he did one. He does some dumb stuff. I wouldn't say it's like singular. I think there's some stuff he does he's got to clean up. But Gunnar did some dumb stuff too, and that's part of playing quarterback is in high school is overdoing it sometimes. But I think, man, I tell you, I bet you, I bet you Georgia wishes they had a do-over with that playoff last year, with Gunnar having like 6 more games of experience, because that was not an easy matchup with Notre Dame, and situationally it was challenging, and that Georgia team was not the same as this one running the football, but that Gunnar is not the same one that we're seeing right now. You're seeing confidence. You're seeing playmaking ability. I mean, I've seen the playmaking ability. That's not surprising. But everything that's happening in practices, you're seeing it now in games. I mean, like, Gunnar, it was never a question for me. I know this guy can do it. And then, Kirby was saying, I just need him to take what he's doing in practice and go into the games. Let me be very specific here, y'all. What you do in practice, that will happen in games. If you are the third baseman and you're throwing it to the dugout, you're going to do that in the games. It doesn't just, there's not a switch. You have to land planes and take off. There are no automatic things. It takes time. You have to do things. It's slow. It's annoying. It's not necessarily different than learning a foreign language, stuff like that. You can't just get it. You have to be put in situations. It has to be difficult. You have to learn that losing is not the end of the world. Sometimes you can gain a lot from that. And, I think Gunnar, this was a matter of time, but he had the ability we didn't have to watch him grow. He grew in practices. And against some of those Georgia defenses, it was pretty nasty, man. I mean, you got to remember who he was going up against in his younger days. Carson, too. So I think there's something about playing quarterback lately, particularly at Georgia, that gets these guys prepared for difficult moments. And what do I mean by that? You think about 23 Carson at Auburn, or the Georgia Tech game in 24, or the Texas game in 24, or the Tennessee game in 25. When the Texas game, I mean the SEC championship game. There have been moments in time where Georgia had to have it from the quarterback, period, and they got it done at that time. They are clearly doing something in practices that is preparing these signal callers to make the plays they have to make when they have to make them. Against Tennessee, Georgia was down to their last down in that game, probably. And he nailed that throw. He nailed it. Now, Humphreys did his part, for sure. But Gunnar nailed that throw, and he played very well against Tennessee. He played better against Ole Miss. Neither of them are great defenses, and then against Auburn, Gunnar did a lot there too. You don't want to be so Gunnar-centric, but I don't think they are with this run game. But when Kirby talks about, Gunnar was like made for these moments, a lot of that has happened at Georgia. It has. They've developed him. They've pressured him. They've put him in difficult situations. All of those things are true. It is also true that I don't know if I don't like to say naturally anymore, because I've just seen youth sports and I know that everything's not natural. But he does seem very at ease, and he has seemed very at ease playing that position for a long time now. Georgia's got a real shot because of his ability to play the position, not because of his physical attributes. He's a pretty normal-looking person, to be honest. I mean, he's definitely athletic looking, but he doesn't have a lot of length. He doesn't, that's not what he is. He's about anticipation and just playing the position. And man, I tell you, there's something to be said for that for sure. Because for all the prototypes, the Arches of the world, Jacob Eason, Zach Mettenberger, Chris Sims, the prototypical quarterback that you always thought of or think of. Guys that know how to play the position, that's important. And I do also think that he's gotten a better feel for things this season as time has gone on. I think he feels it more. Throwing it to Zachariah Branch makes things a lot easier. Throwing it and Dylan Bell making plays, relying on 220-something yards of 221 running it. I mean, that's crazy. So a lot of quarterbacks would have success. But would they have 5 touchdowns as a result of their play? I don't know, but Gunnar Stockton did.